I didn't know what to think. Everything just kind of went our way. Some people like to go out and party, and I decided to drive to a racetrack and tinker on race cars.
Well, Ryan Preece, congratulations, man. That was a wild night, but in the end, you came out on top. Just tell me what that night was like and everything that you went through. Did you expect to be in that position when you got to the end of the night? Because there were a lot of comers and goers as you went. Tell us about your evening as you led up to that win.
There was a lot that went on that entire week. You know, between not having heat races, basically changing the way we all go out for qualifying, to thinking that, man, I don't even know if I'm going to make a race. You know, there's a lot that goes into how these cars get faster and faster, especially on a quarter mile, when the more cars go out there. So for us, we were just trying to make the race. And when we did that, I felt like we had a pretty decent car. And, we started 18th, and, last year we kind of hit on something, and I felt like throughout that race, it showed up again. So we were able to drive up to 9th. But yeah, when it rained, the chaos and everything, I didn't know what to think, to be honest with you. I was not like what I saw Kyle Larson, where he said, "Hey, let's just do this." I was thinking to myself, like, I don't want to destroy this car in 34-degree, rain, because it could be too cold. And everything just kind of went our way. It seemed like, after the first 5-10 laps, and some holes open up, and a few things happened that I needed to gain some track position, because if you're in the first 3 rows, you can kind of determine your own fate. If you're in the hornet's nest, all it takes is one bad hit, and everything that you work for, you lose. So, yeah, I mean, ecstatic for sure.
Well, I think that the best thing that I saw at the end of the night was just that raw emotion from you, and just how much it means. Obviously, I know you pretty well, and know how much time and effort and work that you put into everything to get to this point. Could you ever imagine what that felt like climbing out of that car? And we saw the emotion hit you as you climbed out of that car. Is that what you expected it to feel like, or was it different than what you expected?
I've only felt that way 3 times in my life, to be honest with you. The first time was winning a modified race here at New Smyrna. The second time was winning, a modified race without my father there, kind of, on my own, so to speak. And there was Iowa, and then there was that night. And to be honest with you, I felt those emotions when I crossed the line. I was ecstatic. But when Regan looked me in the eye, and I've known Regan for a long time, and I could see it in his face, and it kind of just took that barrier or shield that I put up, and I just couldn't stop it. So, everybody goes through these things where they work so hard for something, and when you finally accomplish it, I mean, I guess if somebody asked me, "Hey, would you feel like there's been a weight lifted off your shoulders after you win your first Cup race?" I'd look at them and say, "No, it's just like winning any other race to me." But boy, I was wrong. And last night when I was driving, all I thought about was it's like, man, I just feel lighter right now.
So, what'd you do after the race last night?
I drove straight down to New Smyrna, Kevin.
I know you did.
Yeah, I got about 45 minutes of sleep. Some people like to go out and party and, have a good time. I decided to drive to a racetrack and, tinker on race cars.
So what's it been like walking around the pit area today for you?
To be honest with you, like when I was going to sign in, there was a lot of people. I've been coming here since 2006, so I've known a lot of people that work the sign-in booths, or the owners, or just people around here, and they, I could genuinely see how happy they were for me. So it's been really cool because, to me, it's kind of like yesterday. I was talking to Burt Myers, and I can see the passion he has for racing and how he wants to do well and he wants to make that show. And you're one of those guys,
Yeah.
So they feel like they're right there with you.
Has your wife put soap in your mouth yet for your potty mouth?
Nah, no, but I did. There was a moment where Derek even said to me after the race when I stopped talking to him. Well, you're talking about the interview, but I'm talking about in the car. Heather's my biggest supporter, but my biggest critic. And there was a point where I stopped talking, and I said to Derek that hitting the radio button is a choice, and yeah, I decided to stop hitting the button, and all I could think about was, boy, I'm gonna get an earful on my way home. So it was a good thing I won because I got a lot of great things instead of all the things that I said on the radio.
What are you racing this weekend?
I'm gonna race the super late model that I didn't get to race a month or two ago. I'm gonna race the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour race on Saturday here at New Smyrna, and then also I'm gonna race the Tour Type Modified on Monday and Tuesday here at Smyrna.
All right, last question. After you win on whatever night it was, Wednesday night at the Clash, does that change the expectations for your team now as you move into this year?
I feel like we've always had the expectations to do it. It's just you got to back it up. You need to do it. So I feel like the racers in us. If anything, it gives you that little bit of, like, for me, anyways. I don't know. You just feel beat down sometimes, and as a racer, this sport is like it can give you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And that win came at a time that I really needed it. I needed it for me as a person, but also me as a racer. And, our team, I feel like they've been grinding to get the cars ready for Daytona. And to be honest with you, this race just kept getting pushed further and further and further. And, there's only so many hours to get a car ready for Daytona, which is the biggest race of the year. So I feel like the look on their faces when we won that race, they could have went straight to the shop and wouldn't have left that place until the car loaded. So that it just put that, the desire that I have to win and that they have to win. And, I feel like it lit a fire. So yeah, I think it raises the expectations, but I think it just really created a monster for all of us.
Well, that's great. And I know how popular this win is in the garage. And I personally know how hard you have worked and the sacrifices that you have made. I can't tell you how proud I am of you and your accomplishments, and hope that you go out and kick butt all year. So congratulations on winning last night. Have fun this weekend, and the work starts on Wednesday again.
That's right. I appreciate it, Kevin. And you do know, of all people, you've seen it all. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome.